Let's talk Disney Lego sets. Cinderella Castle.
Great set.
Steamboat Willie.
Excellent set.
Disneyland Train Station.
Fantastic set.
Mickey and Minnie Mouse brick sketches. Mickey and Minnie Mouse brick sketches. TK?
Yeah, I heard you the first time.
I guess enough said then. Hello all, I'm Josh, this is Josh Build Stuff, and I'll start off by saying that I recognize that this LEGO Brick Sketches theme is not for everyone. It's a little weird, a little abstract, it's more art than LEGO. It's definitely not a traditional LEGO set. Of course, today we are talking about the brand new Mickey and Minnie Mouse Brick Sketches. Both of these sets were released in March 2021. Mickey contains 118 pieces, Minnie contains 140, and both of these sets cost $17 here in the US. That's $17 a piece, so $34 for the two of these. I'll leave it up to you to decide whether or not that is worth it to you, but I will give you my full thoughts on these particular sets, as well as a little more of my thoughts on the entire Brick Sketches theme right after we build them. The builds for these sets are actually a little more fun than you might expect them to be. You could look at the box and think, well, I see exactly what the build is going to be, and decide to pass on it. But honestly, I would encourage you to give it a try, because the build here is really a lot of the appeal of these sets. Yes, it's a quick process, yes, it is simple, but it is also like making art, with instructions, of course. You build up layer after layer of thin Lego pieces, and eventually you start to see shapes being revealed, and obviously you know what figures you're building before you start, but it's still fun to see different shapes and parts of the character come to life, and then eventually you finish the piece, and you're left with a pretty nice looking piece, at least in my opinion. Pop quiz! Ignoring everything we have said thus far in the video, can any of you out there tell me who these two characters are supposed to be? That's right, it's Mickey and Minnie Mouse, arguably the two most famous characters in the entire Disney franchise, and I'm saying all of this to emphasize the point that the LEGO designers did a good job in bringing those characters to life, because no one's going to look at these and say, I don't know who that's supposed to be or what that's supposed to be. Obviously, it is the famous Mickey and Minnie Mouse. A second point that I would like to emphasize is to not look at these sets as regular LEGO sets, because they are nothing like regular sets. You're not pitting two characters against each other, there's no stud shooters, there's no playability, they are purely display pieces. And so don't view these as LEGO sets, view these as art pieces. From a purely aesthetic standpoint, I think both of these sets look really nice. I especially like the color design that was chosen here. I like that Mickey's on a red background and Minnie's on a yellow background. Meanwhile, Mickey's got a yellow tie, Minnie's got her red bow and her red dress, of course. Those choices I'm a fan of, and I think those little touches add a lot to these sets overall. Also, the fact that the ears slightly overlap, the outlines of the sets, Mickey's bow tie hangs a little off the bottom of the set. I like those little decisions. They make this feel, again, more like abstract art. However, also from a purely aesthetic perspective, I think these characters look a tiny bit strange. I think there is a very slight uncanny valley phenomenon going here. Obviously, Mickey and Minnie have been portrayed in all sorts of different animation styles over the years, eventually leading to their latest cartoons where they look a little strange, but that's a different opinion for a different day. What I'm saying is that these characters look enough like their characters to, I guess, pull it off, but there's still something a little weird because of the LEGO pieces I assume that were available. Also, building these characters at this scale must have been a real challenge, but there's still just something a little weird, a tiny bit unsettling about the faces here. So with that perspective in mind, I will say that I like the way that both of these sets are designed. I mentioned the build is the best part of these sets, and I agree with that. If you look at this set from the side, it is not as simple as it looks. There's like 5 or 6 or more layers built on top of each other, each one lending a different level of depth and dimension, and obviously they have to be the right shapes, the right colors. I think a lot of thought and design actually has to go into building these brick sketches. You might think I'm being purposely over-positive or going out of my way to find encouraging things to say about these otherwise kind of weird abstract LEGO sets and this theme in general, and you would be correct. Maybe this is in my head, but I feel like the larger, louder LEGO minority out there in the community tends to speak negatively about these brick sketches, so I'm trying to find some reasons why these are actually really nice sets, and it's a nice little theme. That being said, I recognize this is not a theme for everyone. One, you would have to be a big fan of the characters portrayed in these brick sketches. We had a couple of Batman sets, we had a couple of Star Wars sets, now we've got Mickey and Minnie Mouse. We're covering a large variety of intellectual property bases in these cases, and I think that was intentional on the part of LEGO. I still think that because this is a newer, fresher theme, LEGO is kind of feeling out the community and seeing what sticks. That being said, here is my most candid opinion on these brick sketches. I think they are a little weird. I think they are a tiny bit overpriced for what they are because they might just sit on a shelf. They might get thrown like into a box somewhere and then they're worth practically nothing. I don't think they'll hold a lot of value over time. I don't think they'll be exceptionally rare down in the long run. I will say this, I'm a fan of Chris McVeigh, who was the original creator of the Brick Sketches line. He was doing it independently, and then LEGO hired him and brought the theme into the official LEGO design umbrella. And so I like creators being brought into LEGO in that sense. I think it creates a newer variety of different things that can be brought to us as LEGO fans. I realize that was also still a little long-winded. My candid opinion on these sets, I am still kind of on the fence on them, but I am still buying them for one reason. That is because they are different, and I want to support LEGO doing different things, even if it means some people out there don't like it, even if it means there's some pushback from the community, even if we end up with so-so sets. So for all of the reasons listed above, I am very curious to know all of your opinions, both on these sets and on the greater Brick Sketches theme in general. Do you like them? Do you not? Are you going to skip buying them? Are you going to skip this video because you know that it's about Brick Sketches? If so, how are you hearing this right now? As always, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to like, subscribe, and tell your friends. It does help the channel grow. Again, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.